Luocha is like the Swiss Army knife of abundance characters. He provides single target healing, passive party-wide healing, debuff cleansing, enemy buff stripping, and though not a ton, some non-negligible personal damage, as well as imprison when breaking imaginary weakness. And that's all just at E0. Despite his long list of abilities, he's quite easy to build and fairly straightforward to play. So first, let's go over his kit. His basic attack is the standard basic attack. His skill is a single target heal that grants 1 stack of Abyss Flower. Also, when any teammate, including himself, falls to 50% HP or lower, he will automatically cast his skill without spending a skill point. This can be triggered again after 2 turns. His ultimate is an AoE attack that deals imaginary damage and removes 1 buff from all enemies hit if they currently have one active. Note that his ult doesn't provide any healing on its own, instead it also grants a stack of Abyssal Flower, and his talent, which once he reaches 2 stacks, he consumes both stacks and creates a field wherein when any team member attacks an enemy, they get healed. And the field lasts for 2 turns. His technique, when used before entering battle, causes him to immediately cast his field at the start of the fight. His secondary traces are Cleansing Revival, which allows his skill to cleanse a debuff from the target, Sanctified, which provides healing for the rest of the team when an enemy is attacked while his Abyss field is active, and Through the Valley, which gives him a 70% resistance to crowd control debuffs. Now, a lot of people see this one and think, oh, I don't have to build any effect resistance on him, but keep in mind that things like damage over time, such as shock, bleed, etc., and defense down are not crowd control debuffs, and those can kill him a lot more easily. Also, 70% is not a guarantee, and there is still a chance to get frozen or imprisoned, trust me. So effect resistance is still really helpful. His tertiary traces give him a bunch of attack, as well as HP and defense, which are all very nice boosts to his healing, some damage, and his tankiness. For priority, start with ascending him to 70 out of 80 to be able to unlock his traces, then prioritize his secondary traces first before leveling his abilities. You want the utility they provide right away. Then for his abilities, focus on his talent and skill equally, since they're what provides all his healing, and even though he'll be built for attack, he still doesn't do a ton of damage. So you can level his ultimate and basic attack if you really want a bit more damage from him, but since leveling abilities costs a ton of materials, you don't have to if you don't want to spend the resources. Luocha's Eidolons all pretty much transform his character, but none of them are at all necessary. He is complete at E0, his Eidolons just provide extra effects to his already fully functional kit. His E1 turns him into a Harmony unit, providing allies a 20% attack increase while his field is active. E2 boosts his outgoing healing and provides a shield when his skill is used on an ally whose HP is below 50%, now making him a preservation unit. 3 and 5 are the standard level increases to his abilities. E4 makes him a Nihility unit by reducing the enemy's damage while the field is active, and E6 turns him into Diet Silverwolf by reducing enemies all type resistance by 20% for 2 turns. If you're free to play especially, but even for light spenders, his Eidolons are cool but not worth going for over a whole new character in the future, but if you're a whale, do whatever you want. For relics, he's thankfully pretty easy to build. His best sets are either going to be a 4-piece Musketeer of Wild Wheat, or Passerby of Wandering Cloud, or a 2-piece of both. Not only are they in the same relic domain if you choose to farm them, but you get a ton of Wild Wheat for free throughout the game, and you also get a bunch of free Wandering Cloud pieces. I personally prefer the 4-piece Wild Wheat for the extra attack, speed, and normal attack damage, since you'll be spamming his normals, and with enough attack, and especially if you're going healing bonus chest, he doesn't really need the additional 10% healing from the 2-piece Wandering Cloud, and the additional skill point from the 4-piece doesn't make a huge difference in the long run, but use whatever pieces have better stats. For his planar ornaments, you can go either Fleet of the Ageless for the extra HP and the attack buff for the team, Space Sealing Station for the extra attack, or you can use Sprightly Von Whack for the advance forward at the start of battle to get a head start on his talent activation, as well as meeting energy thresholds. In all cases though, prioritize the main stat over the 2-piece bonus. Speaking of stats, For chest, outgoing healing is preferred, but attack can be used in the meantime if you don't have one. Speed on the boots, attack on the orb, and energy regen on the rope. But you can use an attack rope if you don't have any ERR ropes, since they're pretty much the rarest item in the game. Again, prioritize stats over set bonuses, so don't worry about running a rainbow set until you can get the right stats on the right set later. For substats, effect resistance should still be a priority despite his passive trace. Then, of course, you're looking for speed and attack, and then any HP and defense stats that increase his tankiness are valuable. When it comes to Lightcones, he has quite a few options, but since none of them are really perfect on him, it's kind of a use what you have kind of situation. His signature, Echoes of the Coffin, is of course his best in slot since it was tailor-made for his kit, but unless you're a whale or an auto fried shrimp, it's not worth pulling. Limited 5-star Lightcones are not necessary in general, but especially since it's so specific to him, not being able to use it on anyone else reduces its value even further. So for 4-star gacha options, Perfect Timing is a great option as it gives effect resistance, which again you'll still need despite his passive, and grants additional healing based on your total effect resistance, so you can double dip on the stats. Post-op Conversation, specifically at S2 or higher, which with a 5-star ERR rope and Von Wack 2-piece, you can hit that 135 ERR threshold, but the outgoing healing on ultimate is useless for him. It's still fine at S1 though, so you can use it if you have it. Shared Feeling can be nice for the additional healing and the bit of energy regen for the team, especially with superimpositions, but it seems like his auto skill casts don't proc that energy refund, so it's very situational. If you don't have any of the 4-star gacha cones, Quid Pro Quo is completely free and provides a bit of energy for a random teammate when their energy is below 50%. This of course loses all value when all of your teammates' energy is above 50%, but it can be helpful for the times it can be procced. And again, it's completely free, so if you don't have anything from the gacha, it's perfectly fine to use. The 3-star light cone multiplication can be used on him for the advance forward after basic attacking, which he'll be doing a lot, and can give him extra turns, which in turn, he'll be able to generate more skill points for your team, so it's worth considering if you have nothing else. As far as teams go, he's a healer, so put him in whatever team needs a healer that isn't using Natasha or Bailu. His imaginary typing is beneficial for fights against enemies weak to imaginary, so that can be a factor when deciding who to use where. When built right, he can be the solo sustain unit in a team, so rather than building a team around him, just slot him into the team he fits better. Let me know in the comments if you pulled Luocha and how you're liking him. If you're still trying, I wish you all the luck on your pulls, and with that said, thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe for more videos to come, and I will see you next time.